Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well today. We're just going to go over a couple things in this quick video. We're going to go over some updates with Cpanel, and we're going to go over a little bit of troubleshooting with Duplicator install. So if you're installing a site with the Duplicator install files, we're going to go over just a couple of troubleshooting steps. But first, let's go ahead and talk about Cpanel. Now, Cpanel is like a brand. They have their own user interface that they provide out to hosting providers. So Cpanel is its own brand, its own trademark, its own type of control panel user interface. Okay, and there are several other types of control panels that different hosting providers use. Now, I've always used Cpanel. It seems to be one of the really the easiest to manage, but they're all basically the same. So if you once you start and learn a different control panel, it's not difficult at all to transition from say Cpanel or to something different. And a lot of people say, well, your Cpanel doesn't look like mine. Just keep in mind that their Cpanel offers different templates, so it just may look a little bit different. And you can change those templates. So this is basically the original old school type template. Now, if you haven't heard, Cpanel made a big announcement recently about how they're moving forward with pricing. Now, if you just have a small hosting package where you have just one Cpanel account that you log into, you may have more than one domain on it or subdomains on it, but you have just one Cpanel account, you're not going to be affected too much by this. There is going to be a price increase because what Cpanel has decided to do is charge by each Cpanel account. So for an example, for somebody like myself who has a larger hosting package and has multiple Cpanel accounts, okay, so this is basically somebody that's doing hosting or providing hosting services to other people, doing things like I do. I have multiple Cpanel accounts for multiple domains for customers and whatnot. So what happens is they're going to charge per Cpanel account, which in the very beginning we believed that it was going to significantly impact the pricing structure of what we were paying. But in the end, it didn't turn out to be too bad. So here's what's going to happen. Depending on who you have as a hosting provider, I'll give you an example with Liquid Web of what they're going to do. If you have a price increase with your hosting provider due to this change in Cpanel, or the changes that Cpanel are making, Liquid Web is going to offer their own control panel, and you'll have the option of sticking with Cpanel and paying the extra money, or using their own control panel. And I imagine most hosting providers are probably offer something similar. There are hosting providers that already use different types of control panel interfaces, but you'll have the option of using a different control panel if the pricing impacts you to that extent. Now the thing is, I think this pricing change starts in January, so you may want to contact your hosting provider and just make sure that your price, what you're paying, is not going to just go up drastically. So you don't want to wait until January and then you get your hosting bill and it be more. So we do recommend that you contact your hosting provider and talk with them about this. Okay, so talking about Duplicator installing a site with Duplicator. Okay, so let's say that you've came into File Manager and you've selected the folder and then you uploaded the zip file of the site, and you uploaded the installer, and you are at the point where you open a new tab in your browser and you type in your domain /installer, and you get a not found, or a page not found. A lot of people think that there must be a problem with the site itself or the files or whatever, but that's not the case. The case is that's telling you that where you're looking for it it's not there. Okay, so what has happened is you've uploaded it to the wrong place. So what happens is, let's say that you come into your file manager. All of your folders for your domains are going to be located here in public HTML. So for instance, if you just got this hosting and you got your domain name with your hosting, and you have one domain name that you're going to be putting a site on, in public HTML you're not going to have anything here. Public HTML is the public facing representation of your domain. So if you don't have any other subdomains, no other add-on domains, you won't have anything here. You won't have any of these folders, nothing. There won't be nothing here. There may be a CGI bin, something like that, but that's it. Now let's go back up one level. Let's say that you created or you added a domain to your hosting account, or you created subdomains, and whenever you go to do the install through Duplicator, it's saying it's not found. Well, again, that's telling you that you've uploaded it to the wrong place. But here's some things that you need to look out for. When you're in your main cPanel and you add a domain or you create a subdomain, sometimes what can happen is there can be duplicate folders created for that domain or subdomain. So let's say that you added an add-on domain, like mycoffeereviews.com, whatever it is. Sometimes you may see that folder here. Okay, you may see a folder here along with everything else. This is the root of your file manager, so you may see the folder, a folder that was created when you created that add-on domain. But what will happen is you'll also have another folder in public HTML of the same name. So if you're getting a not found error when you go to do the installation, you go in and you type in your domain /installer. If you're getting not found, then what you want to do is look for a duplicate folder, and you want to go ahead and just upload the files or move the files over to that folder and then check. And what will happen is you'll find that that's the actual location. You want to find the location that's correct. So again, look for duplicate folders if you're having a file not found or page not found when doing the installer through Duplicator. Okay, so in this particular video, the first thing we're going to talk about, or the first troubleshooting point we're going to talk about two. The first one, as far as installing a site with Duplicator, we're going to be talking about the archive and what that means, what the archive is. Okay, so here we are in our file manager, and you can see that we have the zip file uploaded and the installer. Now, these other two that you're seeing here won't be there. They get created the instant you navigate to the step 1 of the Duplicator install. Okay, so don't worry if you're wondering why these are here. You're going to have this and this, or you're going to have the zip file and the installer.php. These two get created when you navigate to do the first step of the installer. Okay, so step 1 it's doing a couple of things, and mostly it's just validating that the information is there, the actual files are there, so that it can do the install. So basically, when it says archive here, it's just checking to see if it's there. When it says archive, it's talking about the zip folder of the backup of the site. Okay. Now, where it says validation, it's going through some checks. Don't worry about these warnings over here right now. Now, every now and then you may get a PHP version mismatch, which means the site was built on a different PHP version than what you have. Normally, the site may be built on 5, which is a very stable PHP version, which they're going to be not supporting anymore. But the problem with PHP version 7, it's just not stable yet. So, but you may get that PHP version mismatch, but you shouldn't have any problems with it. Now there is one thing in here that I'm going to go over in just a bit, but first I want to go ahead and complete and talk about what we're talking about here. So what does it do when you check the box here and you click next? So what's happening is it's going to go and try to extract this zip folder. Okay, it's going to extract it so that all the files show here. Okay, that's what it's going to be doing when you click next. Now here, this can be the problem for some people. So Duplicator goes and tries to extract the zip folder here, and the settings on your server basically say no, you're not allowed to do that. Now this is a rare occasion, but it does happen depending on the way your hosting provider has your server set up, permissions and things like that. So I'm going to show you how to get around that, or how to resolve that issue if you have that issue. So what will happen is you'll click next, and it'll go and it'll fail, and it'll tell you it wasn't able to extract the archive. So what happens is you have to go back, because what will happen is you'll go to step 2 and it will fail. So you have to go back to step 1. So really the easiest way to do that is just to go back into your file manager and go ahead and delete these two and then start over. So just go just like you're starting from scratch. Okay, navigate to the installer.php, so you'll start on step 1. Then what you're going to do is, when you're back on step 1, you're going to need to come down to where it says options. Okay, in the extraction process, you're going to have some 3 options here. You'll notice that the manual archive extraction is not highlighted. You can't select it yet. So what you do is come back over here, and we're going to go ahead and manually extract this zip folder. So we're going to go ahead and just right click, and you can click extract. Okay, and then it will extract all the files here. Once that's done, you can reload this page, and manual archive extraction will be lit up, which will allow you to select it. Okay, so once you have done that, once you have done the manual extraction here, so let's go ahead and do it. We'll just right click and click extract files. We'll click close, and we'll go ahead and click reload. Okay, and you'll see all the files are here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to reload this page. Okay, now if we go down and open options, you'll see that manual archive extraction is available to be selected. Okay, what we can do now is go ahead and click next, and then it will successfully take you to step 2. Okay, so the next troubleshooting point we're going to talk about involves, again, step 2, which is the database options. I'm not going to go through the steps of creating a database for this, as I've done that in other videos, but let's just say that you've gone and created your database. You've got your database name, your database user, and your database password. Where it says host, you can see that the default is localhost. Okay, the reason why that is the default option or default setting is because that is what most hosting providers has as the host. And again, I'll get tons of emails saying that the product doesn't work, or the files are bad, or something like that. Because what will happen is, not all hosting providers, most but not all, use localhost. So what will happen is the customer will come in, put this information in, leave this blank like you're taught to, because most is localhost, and they will come down and click test database, and it will give you a warning or give you an error, not able to connect to localhost, or localhost denied. And that means that your hosting provider is not using localhost. So what that means is that you will need to contact your hosting provider and find out what the host name is, or what the host is. other than localhost. This is a hosting situation, so and they should be able to help you with this without any problems whatsoever. So again, just to recap, if you go and you test your database settings and it says localhost denied or not able to connect or whatever, that means that your hosting provider is using a different name other than localhost, and you'll need to contact them to get that and then put it in here. Okay? Okay, so I just went back to step one real quick, so I want to talk about one other thing real quick that I see or have seen a few times. Not very often, very rare, but I have seen it. Okay, and that has to do with PHP Open Base. This should be disabled. You can go ahead and read this information that is put here. Okay, but again, this is a hosting issue, and you'll need to contact your hosting provider to make sure this is disabled. I have seen this come up for a few people in the past. Okay guys, that's going to be it for this video. Make sure to subscribe so that you get all the notifications for the latest training videos and different things like that. So make sure to subscribe, and I appreciate it if you click the like button as well. And we'll see you in the next video.